Welcome to the Buick Outdoors Podcast. I'm your host, Sheldon Marion, and on this podcast, we dive deep into the outdoors. We discuss hunting and fishing techniques, give you tips and tricks, tell stories, and everything in between to help you enjoy the outdoors. This podcast is brought to you by Northbound Gear. Northbound Gear is designed for maneuverability and durability and is made to last through even the toughest of elements. My go-to for their pants is the water resistance adventure pants and their lined waterproof jeans. I've worn them while out ice fishing, crawling through the woods bear hunting, and on the west coast out on the boat. And I even wear them around when I'm having a lazy day at the house. They are that comfortable. They also offer jackets, summer pants, backpacks, and many more. Men's and women's sizes are available, and by partnering with One Tree Planted, you're planting a tree with every purchase. Check them out for yourself at northboundgear.co, and when you use my promo code Sheldon15 at checkout, you'll receive 15% off your order. That's northboundgear.co and promo code Sheldon15. Hey everyone, welcome back to another Buick Outdoors podcast. If you're new around here, I'm your host Sheldon Marion, and seeing how we're slowly inching closer towards chicken season here, I figured it was about that time that I bought myself a really nice 22. In I don't want to say my old age because I just turned 31, so I'm still a young buck. But lately here, I've been getting very, very sentimental with a lot of things. So I wanted to finally get myself a nice 22 rifle because I shoot, dozens of chickens every year, and I target shoot a little bit with them and stuff. But I've never really kind of like treated myself to a really nice rifle. And so I thought, why not a 22? I could have bought, a really nice 300, 30-06, 270, 280, something like that. But really, I don't really use them all that much anymore. And even if I did, you can shoot 2 deer a year, 2 bears, maybe a moose, maybe an elk, kind of a thing. But when it comes to that stuff, I like to switch it up way too often to have just one specific rifle for that. So I thought the best thing for me is just a really nice 22 rifle. And with that being said, too, I want this gun to be like the next grandpa's gun, kind of a thing. Like I said, I've been getting very sentimental lately, and one thing that I absolutely love is having all these firearms and stuff that I got now, and even like some knives and my grandpa's fishing reel. They've all been handed down to me, and you can see like the wear marks and stuff like that. With synthetic stocks and stuff, you can kind of get a little scratches here and there, but unless you really beat them up, you can't exactly see like the wear marks from your loved ones and your family members that have used it over the years. So for me, like I got my grandma's 30-06, and I got my gun cabinet open here. So if you're watching this, I'll actually just grab some of these rifles and show you. So here I got my grandma's old 30-06. It's a Ruger M77. Don't know what year it is or whatever, but on this thing you can see a bunch of nicks and dings and scratches, and that's what's amazing with wood stocks is like I'm glad they don't keep their shape and keep their form and stay perfect all the time. And you can see all along this thing where there's, like I said, nicks and dings and scratches. The bluing on the floor plate is pretty well gone. On the trigger guard, it's kind of half there. The tip of the barrel is kind of, is starting to turn silver again. There's not much bluing left up there. And, like every single one of these little nicks and marks and stuff, it has a story. Like here on the on the butt, there's a, I mean, it's not huge, but there's a pretty good chunk taken out of it. And, I mean, at the time, I'm sure somebody was a little upset that whatever happened to it, maybe it fell off a tree or a dog hit it with their nail while they're driving down a back road somewhere. Who knows? But, I got that. I got my grandpa's old 364 Winchester 3030, and it's the same thing. You can see where the varnishes have come off, especially right here on the cheek well. Uh, Even the wood itself is discolored. So everywhere else, it's a nice dark brown. Up here, it's almost like a kind of a light brown color. And again, like the bluing is gone on almost everything around the action. Uh, Guns like this too. You know, my grandpa's put a ton of food on the table with it. My dad shot his first moose with it. And like every so often too, when you grab these guns, like with the wood stock especially, you can almost feel right where like the wood, it's not worn down to the point where you're really gonna notice it, but like you can almost feel that there's a little bit of wear there. So like over the years, everybody holding on to it at that one little spot, it's for the last whatever 50, 60 years, somebody has put their hands there, and over time it has slowly worn the wood away. And then I also got my great great grandpa's single shot 16 gauge, and it's just the same thing over and over and over again. Here there's a pretty good little chunk of wood taken out of the stock. uh it and it's the same thing with everything else. You can see where the wear and tear is. You can you know I don't know how to describe it. A synthetic stock, you just don't get this. Like right here, it's all worn out where like you can actually feel the grains of wood. And honestly, this might be from my doing, from sitting there with it in my truck, between the driver's seat and the center console kind of a thing. That might be my little contribution to this rifle. And it's one of those things where even like this old 16 gauge, it's from 1921. I got it a few years ago. I've taken a pile of chickens with it, quite a few rabbits, and then a couple years ago I took it out and I shot a cinnamon bear with it. It's still to this day putting food on the table, and it was made in 1921. It's over 100 years old, and in 2021, on its 100th birthday, is when I bought a bunch of slugs for it, took it out bear hunting in the spring, and shot a nice little bear with it. And that is like, with all the wear and tear on these guns, like they're not broken and worn out. Like they're still in shooting condition. They're still putting food on the table. And that's why I leaned heavy towards this new rifle being a wood stock. And I'll grab it here for you. So this here is the new one. And if you're just listening to this on like Spotify or whatever, if you want to see these rifles, head over to YouTube. We got our the video version of this on there. But this here is a brand new CZ 455 in 22. It's a beautiful looking, I don't know what it is, walnut or something like that. It's nice, kind of semi-gloss finish on there, and a wood stock. And it's one of those things where, you know, back in the day, if you want to call it that, when I was a bit younger, if I had a gun and somebody put a nick in it or a scratch, I would have been mad. But now I'm to the point where when I hold these other firearms, you know, all the nicks and scratches and dings and the varnishes wearing off is what makes me enjoy the gun even more. Uh, hopefully one day someone along the family line will be holding on to this gun when I'm long dead and gone, and who knows, maybe there'll be a chunk taken out of the stock or whatever, and they can sit there and go, well, I wonder what happened there. You know what I mean? And like, it'll be something that I did, or one of the family members did, or a dog stepped on it, or whatever. And like, it's my hope that this is a good enough gun. It was it cost me a few $100 to buy this. It was about $1,200, all said and done and out the door, kind of a thing. So I definitely didn't cheap out on it. But I really wanted that hand me down rifle. And at first, I wanted a CZ 457, but unfortunately, they didn't have one. So, me and my stubbornness, I'll probably end up buying one of them too. But for now, I got the 455. But I want this to be one of the hand me down guns. I there's something so special and sentimental about these woodstock rifles. Just put this up for a second. And it's one of those things where as you grow older, you start to appreciate these things more and more. When I was kind of pretty well first getting into adulthood, we'll say, I was all about like synthetic stocks, the slick black, the military look, what I thought was kind of cool. Uh, and now I'm totally, completely out of that. One of the things I did to get this gun, this new 22, was I actually took my semi-auto 22 that I replaced the stock with a military looking adjustable stock, and I sold it. Pretty well gave it away, and it kind of half paid for the scope. Not even. I mean, like they gave me a deal on the scope basically for getting rid of that 22 because I never used it. I don't think it's cool anymore, and it just sat around, collected dust. So I would rather get rid of some of these guns that I have, and like I got a few of them, and I would rather just narrow it down to like, I don't know, maybe a dozen. It still sounds like a lot of guns to some people, but I got 3 gun cabinets here. They're all full. So if I narrowed it down to a dozen, I'm doing myself a favor. I'm actually narrowing it down by a lot. I don't exactly want to say how many I have, but I got enough. But anyways, when it comes to all these guns and stuff, like I said, I want to narrow it down to just that select handful or a dozen or however many it is, and just have the ones that are actually like special. Like I used to kind of collect guns and all that stuff, but now I don't know. Even the ones that I do have, there is some that I have and I enjoy them, and I'm kind of it's one of those things where like I'm never gonna get rid of it. But I might pull it out of the gun cabinet once every 2 or 3 years. I might hunt with it, or I might just go, hey, I haven't shot the 22 250 in like 4 years, and the last time I did it was at a Target down some old back road out in Buick, kind of a thing. So hey, let's take it to the gun range today. But this new 22, not only is it gonna be like the hand me down gun, it's hopefully one day gonna be like one of those grandpa's guns, kind of a thing. But it's also like a really really nice firearm. I I used to buy cheap stuff all the time. My old 7mm. That's another one I got rid of. It was a Browning AB3. For whatever reason, I just didn't like it. Black synthetic stock, you know, 3-shot magazine. Nothing wrong with the gun, nothing wrong with the scope, but I never used it. Uh, it's a good deer caliber, but I've shot moose with the 7mm a couple of times now, and well, the one time moose got away, never found him. Another time, thankfully, Dad was there and he backed me up with the 300, which is actually the 300 that I have now in the gun closet. And yeah, I smoked the moose. Looked like I didn't even shoot him. Dad hit with the 300. Poof, down he went. So I got rid of the 7mm. And honestly, I don't think I'm ever going to buy another 7mm again. That was the second one I had. And yeah, I'm kind of done with that caliber. Some people might give me grief about that, but not my favorite one anymore. I'd much rather use a 30-06, 300, something along those lines, and be kind of done with that 7mm. For whatever reason, I got bad luck with it. Uh, you know, moose got away. I've had a couple bears get away. I had a bear charge us after I shot it, and yeah, not a fan. But such is life. You go through the ups and downs, and you figure out what you like and what you don't like. And 7mm happens to be one of those things I don't like. But yeah, this new 22, took it out to the ranger the other day. Uh, So the 22 itself, it's a CZ 455. I believe it's a 20-inch barrel, a nice little wood stock. I don't remember what kind of wood it is. I think the 457 is walnut, and this one might be the same. I don't know. That part doesn't really bother me. I don't really care about the exact specifics like that. But yeah, I bought a Leupold VX Freedom scope, the 2 to 7 by 33 rimfire. Has kind of like the MOA reticle inside of it, and it's extremely thin crosshairs. Like when you pick that thing up and look at it, like, oh, it's it's spectacular. I love the crosshairs on that thing. And then also with it being the rimfire series and not just like a regular old one, the parallax, like where it's kind of focused for, is at 60 yards instead of 100. So everything up and close, because like when you're hunting chickens, your typical shots like that 10 to 30 yard range kind of a thing. So I can crank her down to 2. I can shoot one that's pretty well running in the ditch, or if there's one up the road a little ways, I can crank it up to that 7 power and it's still nice and crystal clear, and I can smoke them on the run kind of a thing. And yeah, I took it out to the range. I made a little video of me sighting in the rifle. If you guys want to check that out, that's not gonna be out until September 20 something. But yeah, took it out to the range. It only took a few shots there to really walk it into dead center, and then what did I have? 2 or 3 shots left in the magazine. So the last couple of shots, I just wanted to see it group, and I shot twice in a row, pretty quick. Didn't take any breaks in between shots, and both shots, they were sitting there touching each other, right? So it's one heck of a shooting gun. I dialed it in, a couple more clicks after that, and said good enough. So yeah, the thing is just pinpoint, deadly accurate with the CZ and Leupold combination. Uh, it was either going to be a Leupold or a Vortex. And for whatever reason, the Vortex was $300, Leupold was 500, and I thought, the heck with it. This is, like I said, this is going to be Grandpa's gun. I'm going to spend the money on it now, and that way, however many years down the line, you shouldn't really have to do anything to upgrade it. I don't know, maybe the firing pin might be a little worn out on it, but hey, that happens from time to time. Nothing you can do about it there. But yeah, I did the old, you know, buy once, cry once kind of angle on it, and so far I'm extremely happy with it, and I cannot wait to take it out this fall and just start shooting a bunch of chickens with it and just making memories and putting my own dents and scratches in it. And one thing that I think I'm going to do, uh, just for extra sentimental, not necessarily for the people that I pass it down to, But for myself, is if you've been here for a while, you would have remembered old Ruger boy. So before I had Rocky, I had my old dog Ruger. Unfortunately, he passed away. But what I'm gonna do is on the end of the butt, you can remove these two screws here. You can take the butt plate off, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna drill out a little piece, and I'm gonna take Ruger's ashes. Oh, sorry guys, I'm getting emotional here. But I'm gonna take Ruger's ashes, and I'm gonna put it inside the gun, and I'm either going to epoxy it or super glue it. So in that way, Ruger himself will be a part of Grandpa's old gun. He was one hell of a special dog, and that's that's one dog that you'll never be able to replace. So with that, when I hand down the gun, not only will you get kind of Grandpa's old gun and the feeling and the nostalgia of knowing that you're gonna be using the gun that like Grandpa used to hunt with. Oh, Jesus. In a way, you'll still be taking Grandpa's old dog hunting. To me, that's almost more important than still using my old gun. Is to take Ruger on one more chicken hunt. Ooh, sorry, got a little emotional on you guys there, but it comes to show you, when it comes to being an outdoorsman and hunter and being a gun fanatic, there's a lot more to it than just going out there and shooting animals and killing things. Like these things actually mean uh, a lot to us. But like I said, it's that sentimental value. There's something about wood guns that it just you can you can almost feel their memories. You know what I mean? And for people that aren't into this, they'll never really understand. But just the thought of someone able to kind of sorta take my old dog for another chicken hunt, you know, made this grown man cry. But yeah, it is what it is. But that's the power of being an outdoorsman. You get all these. The life that we get to live is a pretty. It's an underrated and very uh, astonishing life. The sights, the sounds, the smells, the memories, the sentimental feelings that everybody gets to enjoy. And if you're an outdoorsman, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Uh, if you're not an outdoorsman, man, it's something that I really think maybe not you should do, but you should at least try to understand. You know what I mean? It's it's life. It's the way we live. A lot of us, we're very open-minded and caring people. We live our life. You live your life. Uh, you know, Maybe our lives don't really maybe it's something that it's hard for you guys to understand if you're not into this, but it is what it is. We we care about our families. We hunt and fish for our food for the most part, and we're providers. And you know, we live our life happy and try to make the most of it along the way, and try to make good memories while we're still here. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to. I don't know. I guess I kind of had a message to give out here today. Uh, you can do with it what you want, kind of a thing. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast. Uh, hopefully it makes you kind of think about what you guys have. Uh, but anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed that podcast. I didn't exactly mean to get all emotional and such on you, but it is what it is. Some days you just can't help it. But yeah, hopefully this podcast makes you kind of think about what you have kicking around in your gun closet and what you're gonna be handing down or what's been handed down to you, and you know just kind of keep going on about your life. And boy, it sure is a good one when you're living out in the woods. But anyways, guys, hope you enjoyed that. If you did, make sure you hit the like button down in the bottom if you're watching this on YouTube. Leave us a comment or two. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're just listening to this, I'd really appreciate if you went over to YouTube and subscribe to us over there. There's the podcast is on there. We got a bunch of hunting and fishing coming up here in the next couple weeks. If you're listening to this right away, we got some lots of berry picking, some extra little harvesting tips and tricks. Picked some mullen and fishing on the river, gold panning, the sighting in a gun, all that good stuff. And real soon here, it'll be hunting season, so all the new chicken hunting videos will be coming up. Hopefully, an elk hunt will be coming up and a moose hunt. I got my tags here for that. But anyways, I'm starting to ramble on, so I'm gonna head out of here. And yeah, we'll catch you on the next one.